Welcome to a Toothless Thursday. I'm going to start a new hashtag. Toothless Tuesday, Toothless Thursday, Front Grill Friday.
Are you wearing it today?
Yeah. Yeah, Lispy, is there an L? No. Lispy Saturday. So, anyway, what's up, everyone? We took a week off because I was sulking in my own pain and suffering. And my face was swollen up like I'd been stung by 1,000 bees. But I'm back. We just shot what did I talk for an hour and a half straight? Doing a wash bay tour. So I've gone through. Finally got my upper cabinet, so I took the TV out of the center there that I never use, which is now at your house. How's that thing doing, by the way?
It's nice, way nicer than anything I've ever had.
So, at one time, that was the best television on the planet, the Panasonic VT50. And so we took that out, and I was waiting for black cabinets, and I kept giving my cabinets to other customers. And then finally, I got my cabinets, so I got those mounted, and then cleaned out stuff. And I showed up here yesterday with a trunk full of detailing supplies. They're all gone, by the way, so don't get too excited about getting a deal. All that stuff is gone, and really what I wanted to do was get it down to the stuff that I actually use, and I do that often. I purge often, and some stuff I hold on to, like, for instance, Polish Angel. People are so excited and love Polish Angel. I wanted to love it so badly, and I just didn't like using like any of them. None of the products were better than anything else I was using, so I was holding on because I had $500, $600 worth of their little spray bottles, and eventually just had to give it up. And so I did that with Griots, all the Griot stuff I've been holding on to. Now that Griot isn't going to let me sell their stuff, and get rid of just a lot of excess that has been replaced by something else. So anyway, that's what I've been working on the last few days, but it took me quite a while to recover. I'm surprised, no pain, so I haven't been suffering. It's just being able to speak on camera, being able to get off the couch. Once you get in that funk, it's kind of hard to get off. Like, I'm not one to sit on the couch. I mean, I'm running. When I'm sitting on the couch, I'm working. I'm doing something. I still got a lot done, so I'm sure we got a lot to talk about. But yeah, it's been a rough road up to the tooth being removed, which really wasn't that big of a deal. The bigger deal has been on me, as I've been talking about, emotionally and mentally, my mental health. So I've used this as a way to improve.
So how did that affect then your nutrition train? You doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at 230.6. I'd gotten down to like 229.0. So I'm not allowed to work out for another week, I guess, because the impact. You don't want to stress that area. I'll probably start, like, I may go hit the gym and row or something like that. So I haven't done anything. We had a bit of a hiccup with our nutritionist, our chef, and had to sit down and restructure and reorganize. So while with that week of surgery, I didn't eat anything for several days other than liquids. The problem is a lot of the liquid stuff is all sugar, like you're drinking smoothies and things like that, and it's kind of hard to. You can only drink so many protein shakes, and I couldn't eat chicken. So I had a nice little reprieve for a couple of days, so I could finally start gnawing on some stuff. So I ate some Oreos and things to kind of get that out of my system, and I'm back on track. So yeah, she's back. I'm back on meal plan, headed to 205. That's the goal.
Nice. I did see one Chick-fil-A cookie eaten in that time frame too.
Well,
only one.
No, I had 4 of them right there. You must have missed that.
They're really good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some of the stuff since last time we were here. Had a lot of good questions come in today on Instagram. We already covered, I think, some of this stuff actually. One question I want to get to here first, because I know with the membership program coming up, I think you're finalizing some details on how that's going to work. So you want to speak to that, just what the update is?
Yeah, once again, I want the membership program to be very simple. I've gotten on like some of these other YouTube guys who have, just to kind of see how they do it, and it's just gosh darn chaos. There's just so much stuff. like, and I guess they feel the need to like have this major justification. So I want to keep it very, very simple. You got a podcast type video every week and a video type video, vlog type video every week. So 2 videos every week is membership light, and then the Hex, what is it called? Hex Plus is if you want to buy crap in the store, then 10% off and free shipping. And so we're working on the details software-wise of how that works. It's not as simple as you think. You think we just thought we'd just plug in an app and good to go, and no, it's not that simple. So, and then that will of course coincide with the giveaway for the 1M. We're going to clean out the garage here today. I've got a bunch of 1M projects to work on. My brakes shipped, so they should be here soon. So we'll be doing a Brembos on it. We'll be test fitting the HREs to see if they fit on the 1M or not. I'm really digging the HREs on the M3 now. After like going to Home Depot and like walking up to it in the parking lot, or pulling that douche car guy move, where you're walking and you kind of lock the car 2 or 3 times so you can kind of turn around and look at it. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty sick. I just got to get the darn alignment done. So once I get the alignment done, I can figure out do I need spacers or not. And yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna play with the M cars and get the 1M done, do some more driving, and then we're gonna give that sucker away. I'm probably up to 90 G's on the thing. I ordered a front lip. Yeah, it's getting more and more legit every day. I ordered the steering wheel, so I can put the steering wheel in.
All right, so that's July and August, right? July 1.
July, August, and depending on how much money we raise, maybe September.
Gotcha.
But we submitted through New York and Florida, so I paid the bond, and so we'll see if I'm able to have the option to extend it if I don't sell enough. I have a suspicion that this is going to raise a lot of money. At least I hope. It's a freaking awesome car, and I have awesome people that watch this stuff, so I think there will be lots of people that, I'm going to ask for it basically every video. And so I think when I ask, I think a lot of people are going to support. It's really going to help me. The dollars, as most of you know, will be reinvested back into OG. And probably largely I'm getting more destination focused as I try to figure out what our next move is on a building.
All right, then let's kind of go into that, because I'm going to steal from Vic J on Instagram. He wanted to know if there's an update on OGHQ version 3.0.
It's getting a little fuzzier. I had it all figured out, and then I had a meeting with my coaches, and I've had a meeting with an architect, and I got a $46,000 bill, and I told him to get the frick out of here. He lost his gosh darn mind. No one. So if that's the way it's going to be, then this building is becoming less and less viable. I'd rather just go buy a frickin' 100 acres for $1 million and put a building on it, rather than having 3/4 of an acre for $800,000. That's stupid. So I don't know. It's not that I'm backpedaling. It's as more information comes to light, as we get further down this path, I'm starting to think more destination. Taking the gamble. Buying something like the property I looked at. I don't know. That's still out of reach, but when I start to do the math doesn't make sense writing, $50,000 checks when I thought I had this kind of figured out. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll have more clarity over the next couple of weeks of whether I'm in or out.
Gotcha.
But I know what I want to build there if we build it. It's just a question of whether the guy's going to do it or not.
All right, so there's been a lot of M-Car content lately. Jeff McKenzie asking if there's any RS content coming down the line.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Actually, I just brought some parts over here. I want to do the door pulls, which I think would be interesting to anybody who cares, to match the door pulls, the pull straps to the stitching. I'm going to do some general maintenance, change the oil, stuff like that. I'm going to swap the exhaust, go try that AWE exhaust, go make some videos of that. Probably then order right away. Unless I just absolutely love the AWE exhaust, I'm going to order the Dundon Street so I can put the Dundon Street headers on. And then, of course, I got to either remove the PPF or correct the PPF, the yellowing in the back. So yeah, a whole RS project. I want to get the 1M done first. I want to get the M3 suspension completed, and so then we'll get done with the 1M, get the 1M out of here. You know, you give it given away or raffled off or whatever you want, whatever makes you feel comfortable calling it. I guess I'm the only one who's uncomfortable about calling it a giveaway, but giving that thing away. And then I want to do like a ridiculous stereo in the M3. And then maybe even do the stroker, 9-inch stroker, or I guess Carbon Tech stroker. And then you know, all the while kind of I need to do general maintenance of the RS. I'd like to have the RS dialed in before I go up to the mountains in June. So I'm thinking probably in a few weeks I'll have the 1M done, and then a few weeks after that work on the RS. But yeah, RS needs a little love.
Okay, then someone else was asking about the Raptor. Any plans on maybe doing a wash and talk with the Raptor, and how's the coating holding up?
Yeah, it's probably time for a refresh on the Raptor, and so we'll make a decision of whether we do Carpro Essence and just clean it up. The coating's still there, still holding up. We're 2 years plus into it. There's some water spots and things like that on it, so a decon and a light, polishing like with Carpro Essence might be worthwhile. I'm probably going to do that, but that would be probably fall. I got a lot of projects lined up with the M cars and the GT3. I mean, I still want to embark on this series where I remove the water spots from the M3, and so that's going to be dealing with paint depth gauge and stuff like that. Part of the reason why I've been waiting on the M3 is I wanted to get my lighting package, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Lighting package all figured out. When I say lighting package, like polishing lighting. And then I can start to really dig into which DeFelsco paint depth gauges am I going to carry and offer to people. It's really the paint depth gauges are really complicated, so I want to uncomplicate that if I can. And a lot of what's held me back is we're building structure here. I feel like we have a good flow going here now. You and I are getting close to having our bookkeeping and our accounts payable, receivable, and budgeting and things like that figured out, and so that'll take a lot of weight off of just mental capacity, so that I can play, and create.
I want to go to, you mentioned here briefly with lighting, new stuff coming to the store on Monday. We got 12 or 13 pallets worth of Comets in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those have gone out. What else is new coming to the store? Those aren't truly new, but we were waiting on that delivery for a while. So
yeah, so I'm gonna have we also had a pallet of scan grip show up damaged, so we had to refuse it. So they're repackaging and sending it out. So I'm gonna have a semi-full line of the scan grip. I'm choosing the stuff that I know that would be of value to people, and then I'm going to dumb that down or sift that down into here's exactly what I use. So there's a bunch of stuff in the scan grip line that is completely unnecessary, that would be luxury, that I wouldn't mind having in my cabinet, but I know I'm never going to use. And so I've ordered all the different things, the latest, greatest, and I'm going to have a OG package, just the OG lighting package. It'll also include a Phoenix flashlight, so the Scan Grip pen light, Scan Grip D-Match, the D-Match R, which is the little one, the Sun Match R, which is the little one, and then a Phoenix light will be the OG package. It's going to be pretty sick. And what I've learned is that I've had like the big real deal full-on scan grips, and I have in all corners of the car. Those aren't as useful for me. Scan grip is much more spot check lighting. So having good overhead lighting and then having lights to check your spot, check your work when you're at the enthusiast level. I found myself setting up dual scan grips or triple scan grips. And then I'm polishing, and next thing I know, I set it up on the front fender, and I'm at the rear back fender, and I haven't moved the darn things. So that means I'm not using them. So lighting is something that has been on my radar for a long time. So I finally, it took a while to catch up to where we're at now. And so now you're going to see a lot of products come down the pike and a lot of product videos of me sharing what's going on. We have a real good synergy going, Bryce and I do, with creating the products. So you're going to see the store get really organized and really structured with a setup of, my original plan for this whole thing was you could just click a button and buy the Matt Mormon everything package. And so we're getting closer and closer to that.
Another thing that's people have been asking about for a long time, I think we're finally starting to make a little progress on it, is the interior package.
Yep.
So you want to speak to that for?
Yeah, so I finalized exactly what I'm buying, and so now I'm literally making the calls to set up the relationships to buy the stuff. The Swiss Vac stuff that I need. I'm going to be doing Stoner's glass cleaner instead of Griots. We're going to do D101 for interior cleaner instead of Griots that I thought I was going to do. And so I've lucked into and been pleasantly surprised with some of the new products I've been testing. I've got Angel Wax coming here, bringing one of everything, and we're going to sit down and talk about it and use it. So I forget what his name is. I think it's Ram or something. But the guy in Arizona who's the U.S. distributor has set up a few guys across the country, and so I told him, look, I want to buy one of everything you got, every part and piece you got. And this is part of been my longer term vision. Bring it here. And he said, well, why don't I bring it to you, and instead of you trying to figure it out, I'll tell you about it. That's going to be cool. So there may be one or two products in the Angel Wax line. We're going to need something to replace Wolf's. From what I understand, Wolf's is now out of business. So I'm going to need something to replace that. I've already decided that on all of my trim, I'm just doing Crystal Serum Light on the trim. Just works great. We're going to eliminate C5. I don't like C5. I like doing Crystal Serum Light and EXO much more on my wheels. So I'm going to eliminate the use of C5. I think it's unnecessary. And so, I'm working toward getting interior to, again, create the Matt Mormon package. Here's the Obsessed Garage way to wash a car from start to finish. Then from there, I'll go chase vacuum cleaners, and you're going to chase custom install vacuum cleaners like Nick did at his garage. Chase whatever. Get it all, have it all figured out, and then change it. And improve it. Like my wash bay, just made an 1.5-hour video talking about how I'm improving.
I'm glad you mentioned Nick and his garage, because he actually asked a question here on, do you have an update on the effectiveness of the air filtration system here?
It's done, Dick. I don't think it's done anything. We haven't run it religiously. I got to put the electrostatic filter in. The filter I got was messed up, so thanks for reminding me. I don't think it actually works. I think I would probably need 4 or 5 of them. I don't know. I haven't found any improvement in it. Running it, for 8 hours a night. Maybe you need to run it 24 hours a day. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think it's really doing much.
How can we measure that? Like, how would you?
The way I'm measuring is I just look at the black desk that's in there. That their desks, and you can just tell. Is the desk dusty? And if it is, after like a day, then there's still all kinds of particulates in the air. That's what I've used as my reference point.
Just to go back to the comment for just a minute, Matt Townsend on Facebook wanted to know any update on getting the stripped down version of the comment that doesn't come with all the crap that we don't use.
Not yet. I talk about this like with the bottles and sprayers and things like that. It's going to take time. I still can't have Krenzla still won't listen to me. Because I want a mid-tier Krenzla. So what I want a Krenzla that's between the 1122, 1322 and the KWS 700. I want something that does like 2.5 gallons a minute, that works on a 20 amp dedicated. And so I want like the HD 10 that they have over there. I want that level of output in a machine that's maybe it's a $2,000 machine. It's not a $3,500 machine, but it's kind of in between. I think a lot of people would really respond well to that if you're doing like a real fancy, custom install, but you don't want the monster in your garage. And so Comet, I think they're seeing it. They all saw on Instagram how we had the frickin' UPS truck filled up. No other dealers doing that. They're not selling that many. They don't know anything. The retailers don't know anything about this stuff. Even other guys that were planning on selling it, I mean, they don't know anything about it. So we sell a lot more than anybody else does because we're teaching people how to buy it, how to use it. So I think at some point we'll be able to get the goofy junk out of there, but I think we'll be disappointed on how much that reduces the cost. I'm hoping it's like $150, but it's not. I mean, that stuff is some Chinese garbage. So it's one of those things that I don't know. Amos and I are going to work on that. Amos is our distributor who I'm buying through, but I wouldn't hold your breath on it. So if you're interested in one, I think you just buy it and punt all that stuff in the trash.
All right, let me ask you a couple product/process questions here. Trey on Instagram asked, what's the best product / process to use on a soft top convertible?
I've always done just wash it with soap, like Adam's car shampoo. And then I've never really found the need to agitate it outside of my regular, mitt. And then treat, probably every 3 washes with Aerospace 303 Aerospace Protectant. Just spritz some of that on there and wipe it in with a microfiber towel, and that's what I found to be the best. There's also a company I think it's called Rag Top. It's Raggtop. They have a system. I've never used that because I've never found the need. And I've had S2000s for years, and I've always found just 303 on it seems to do really, really well. And so I haven't had a need for any kind of fabric coatings or anything like that. And I found they stay black and nice and rich and not weathered. Tends to work really, really well. I think you want to be careful getting it clogged up with a bunch of junk. So that's why I tend to try to avoid spraying just a bunch of stuff on them.
Do you have any thoughts or experience with H2O Guard and Gloss?
Yeah, it's not very good. Adam's H2O Gloss and Guard. Why use that when there's better stuff? Unless you're just an Adams super fan. And I can relate to that because I was a Griot super fan, and even though I knew there were other brands out there, so I just want the whole Griot's line, want everything there is, and chances are they're going to do better than I would at building a system. And what I eventually learned as I mastered the Griot's line and started to search for other things, and then got involved in digging deeper. Each company has a product or two that's great. And Adams H2O Gloss and Guard. I mean, I would rather use Carpro Reload, Carpro Reach H2O, Geon whatever. Pick the Geon Can Coat. I'd rather use Geon Cure. I'd rather use my choice is Bead Maker. P&S Bead Maker over that product. I'm not on board with this whole bull crap of you just buy a spray and spray it on. You've got to work for it. Got to put your sacrificial layer, I think, should be not difficult, but it needs to be more stout than just spraying some liquid on the surface. Water beading is not protection. It's not the same thing. Water beading does help with slickness and helps make sure that things maybe don't embed themselves as much. But this whole ceramic spray bull crap is stupid. That stuff to me is a drying aid. I can use it as a topper, but I think you want something much more permanent. And I'm absolutely sold out, in love with Crystal Ceramylite XO. Especially just the other day, I had love bugs on the 1M. I had driven to my therapist, driven back, had surgery, didn't get off the couch for like a week. Or like 4 to 5 days. I was stressing about the darn love bugs on the front because 3 days is my cutoff, and so I walked out with some OptiClean and spritzed, and it wiped off like butter. It was just magical, and so I'm in love with CSL because it looks great. One of my nemesis is what the heck is his name? He's always busting my balls. He put Colonite on top of CSL, which is interesting. I'd like to try that, see how that does. Yeah, I think that could be cool too.
All right, I think you addressed then this question: best way to take care of love bugs.
Best way is protection up front, but there's no formula, and this shouldn't be hard to get off if you're protected. You should just be able to wash the car like normal. 80% so 20% will come off when you spray it. Another 60% will come off when you wash it, and you get the last 20% by hand when you're using bead maker or your drying aid. The rest will come off. Don't get crazy. You got to work for it. There's no easy way to get them off. You got to wash your car every 3 days or do some sort of waterless wash or rinseless wash process. If you don't want to do the whole car, you don't have to. The windshield, you can go use a darn Brillo pad if you want. I mean, don't do that. But you know what I'm saying. You can be more aggressive with the windshield. But the rest of the paint, don't play these stupid bug remover games, and you don't want to strip off your protection. Have protection, and then they'll come right off. But it's still going to take an hour to do it. So if you don't want to take an hour, your car's probably jacked up anyway, so who cares? And get your dryer sheets out and start spraying on glass cleaner and whatever other bull crap you're going to come up with. But there is no secret. The secret is there is no secret. It's freaking stupid detail videos about, this is a secret. There's no freaking secret. It's called get off your rear end and do it. I didn't get off my rear end. I was laying on the darn couch stressing about the stupid love bugs because they will etch the paint. Another thing that I learned, I was on NPR. I don't know, they found my YouTube channel and saw the one where I have Mr. Clean and the love bugs, and then a bunch of people go watch it and yell at me, it's too long and blah blah blah, because they're looking for the secret. Should we dump some borax on the surface or spray some PAM or something stupid? Or put a giant net on the front of my car or some other ridiculous thing. But there was a scientist on there from the University of Florida. First off, they weren't engineered, right? They weren't brought here for any bullcrap engineering mosquito control purpose. They're not even predators, these things. They don't eat anything. They just live in the swamp. The larvae live in the dirt, and then they come out twice a year to create more. So they migrated from South America, and who knows why, but they're here. But nobody, scientific experiment engineered them, so that's stupid. So dryer sheets, stupid. PAM, stupid. Bug net, stupid. Sandpaper, stupid. Not engineered, that's stupid. What they are is just a frickin' bug, and they aren't acidic. They're pH neutral. So something to do with the enzymes likely in their, in their guts that eats clear coat more than typical bugs would. So that's another, that is a myth that I'd held on to. I just assumed they were acidic of some sort of acid in their guts. That's not true either. So basically anything you've ever heard about love bugs is bullcrap. Wax your car, clean it gently, but it's going to take you some work.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with love bugs, Google them, and then look in the Obsessed Garage group on Facebook. You'll see lots of pictures of.
Right.
If you drive on the interstate for any amount of time.
But dryer sheets work. Of course it works. So would a belt sander. Gosh, it's stupid. Of course it works. Well, I don't want it to be hard. Well, then what are you asking me for? Because everything I do is hard. Gosh. That was funny. People were calling in. Well, I met a trucker, and what are you taking advice from a trucker for? He doesn't know anything. So the guy's like, what I've been doing for years that works really well is I have you do a mixture of Dawn and borax. Well, no crap. Your pH is 11. Of course it's gonna work. You also stripped off half the frickin' surface of the paint. So, yeah, I mean. In my world, I want protection, and then I want to replenish that protection. I don't want to damage the protection. And the whole other side of the argument is, well, let me just strip the protection, and then I could just have this magical ceramic spray and just spray it on, and it just works. It's not that simple. End of rant.
All right.
Next question.
Have you heard of Built Hamber Auto Foam? I heard it was a great soap. Would like to know your opinion of it.
Funny, I just I've been in contact with them about becoming U.S. distribution for Built Hammer, the entire line. So I'm torn on this because I don't have any interest in carrying any line of anything. I don't have any interest in retailing anything. But I just have this, I get these gut feelings just from, a lot of it is just from information. You know, I see John from Forensic Detailing, who I really admire, you know, his you know, what he's into. I'm not as into detailing as people think I am. Like, detailing is just one thing. You know, I have no interest in detailing other people's cars, and you know, I don't want to do that. I just like the whole I like the garage, and detailing is a major part of the garage. And if I'm going to detail, I want to detail at professional grade, professional level. But someone like John is like, he's taking it to another level of, you know, the science and testing and all of that. It's hard to test these stuff without, I hope someday he continues to do really well and he can get, you know, like weather testing machines and things like that. Shoot, I almost want to buy him one and send it to him and partner with him and have him, you know, really vet and test these products. And rather than wiping all-purpose cleaner on your freaking ceramic spray and calling that a test, it's retarded. So he is, you know, it seems like Built Hamber wins like every test that he ever does, you know, that is loosely scientific. So I don't know, I just have this suspicion that their products, they have some fantastic stuff, and it's very science looking based, not fluff. And so I've been in talks with them, and what I'm thinking about doing is I'll just bring the entire line in quantity, make it available, take it out and put it on Amazon, and then just have basically just build a separate, you know, Built Hamber. I'd like to do the same thing with a couple of other lines of products where I control distribution for it. And make sure to protect the brand and grow the brand for them, even though there are some products. This is where I get a little confused. If there are going to be some products that I don't care or give a crap about, that I don't like, but some people might. And so how do I manage that? How do I maintain that? You know, I've thought about that and had several conversations with companies, because I can market it better than they can. I just know it. And market it by taking pictures and making videos. I mean, it's really a pretty simple formula, and at least having some intelligent conversation around the product, and then, you know, get the product in hands of guys like John who test it and you know, are bright. And so I'm thinking about maybe bringing that entire line over here and then just providing it to people, and then picking the 2 or 3 out of it and putting it in the Obsessed Garage line. So just have Built Hamber and have control of it, and I know that we would do a great job of that. The same thing with maybe Coke Chemi and find some other obscure stuff, but I'm not gonna, there's no chance of me being sold out of an entire line of products. It's just not gonna happen, and I don't want to retail, and I don't want to lose that credibility of being a retailer, of, okay, this is the latest greatest thing. No, if I say that, I want it to actually be that, not because I'm getting a better margin on Meguiar's than I am on Adams. Like, I'm considering transitioning from Adams soap to Hyperwash, and there's probably better margins on Hyperwash. And so I'd be lying if I don't think about this from a business perspective. But then the trump card for me is, what will I use? And so there have been times, like right now, I use Griot's glass cleaner. I've had to find something different because I can't provide that to people. So that's the other option, is if I can't provide it, then I just don't sell it. Like the Ego blower is the way to go. I'm not going to sell a Metrovac just because I can. So I'm going to do my best to fight this to the end of the earth to maintain that stance. But Built Hamber is just something, I just have this, I don't know, this suspicion that it's something that needs to be here. It's something that I know that I could provide significant value to, and give them more resources to create great stuff. And I don't know, I just have a suspicion that maybe that's worth the extra effort of providing the line, and then again cherry picking what I actually like. And they're going to have a strong stomach for that. So when I say this product sucks, don't buy it. They got to be they're going to have to be willing to do that, otherwise I'm out.
Let's go back to that ego blower that you just mentioned for a second. Scott on Facebook says, what battery do you recommend for the ego blower? Is the 2.5 it comes with suitable?
It is. I think you want a 2.5 and a 5.0. The 2.5 is much, much lighter. The fives get heavy. I mean, it's heavy. And then they have a 7.5, which is a monster. So I have a 2.0 and a 4.0. Now they have a 2.5 and a 5.0. You could do a whole car with a 2.5. But if you're really getting into it, really intricate, you'd need a 2.5 and a half. So I think you want two batteries. You're gonna have to just don't look at the ego blower as a $200 purchase. Look at it as a $500 purchase, because you're gonna want 5.0 battery. I think you just bite the bullet, buy the 580 CFM. And the advantage of buying the 530 CFM model is it does come with a 2.5. So you have that nice lightweight. It's good to have. I find myself preferring using it with a lighter weight battery. And I'm a big dude. And so, but having the 5.0 when I'm doing the Raptors, I don't have to go switch the batteries out. But the batteries charge really quickly with the supplied battery charger. So I don't think you can go wrong either way, but I think you want two batteries regardless.
All right, let's get to a couple of car-related questions here. Would you ever consider buying an E46 M3 as a build for people to follow and then doing a giveaway?
Yes. Yeah, I would like to own an E46 just for nostalgia. I have a feeling that one's going to be a little old feeling for me. But if I could find a really great example, without navigation and bull crap that makes it look and feel really old. But yeah, I'd like to experience and own an E46 at some point.
All right, there you go, Mason. Would you ever consider owning a 964 or a 993? What are your thoughts on E34 M5s?
E34 M5, absolutely not. Way too old. It's way too stinky and old for me. The
964, 993?
Well, that's what I'm thinking about doing, buying, gutting, putting on a rotisserie, having painted, me and Jason Kilmer sanding it to perfection, doing some sort of modified resto mod type. That would be if we had HQ, 3.0 that had the space for that, and then I would, that would be one of those things. It would become a big project where I'd fly people in and we'd ship the car off, and I'd fly out, and we would build in my mind, it would be a $200,000 build, not a Singer build, but a $200,000 car that I would build, and then by the time I'm done with it, probably be bored with it and sell it, or not. I don't know. Because I drove the PCAR podcast guys. I have to get that darn thing edited and up. And by me, I mean Bryce. I drove his 964. It was cool, really cool, fun. But I could see that getting old with me quickly.
Are you getting, or do you plan to get a .2 RS?
No. I plan on getting a 992 RS.
When do you suggest using a coarser grade of clay or a finer grade of clay? From Dan on Facebook.
I don't know, man. I find that auto scrub was better and gentler. I know we had this discussion with Dylan and Jason Rose, and I found the clay alternatives to be just adequate, unless the car is really, really contaminated. But then again, I mean, my M3 was a mess when I got it. Heavy contamination on it, and it just blew right through it with the auto scrub really, really quickly. I find that you want that kind of happy medium where when it's too hard, it leaves trails behind. When it's too soft, it kind of gets hung up as well. So you're looking for something medium, and so I've found, the Optimum clay bar was the best, but now they don't make it anymore. Like the Chemical Guys one that Billy likes that we use, I didn't like that at all. I think it was hard as a rock. I was leaving black marks all over the car. I'm sure you could, you can kind of work on figuring out how to do it, how to use it so it didn't do that. That was a Chemical Guys version that he liked. So I think it's very preference based, but I like something that's in the middle. And that's one of the things that intrigues me about Built Hamber is everybody that's told me that has ever used that says that's the best clay on the planet. So I'd like to get it, try it.
I had a couple people in the chat here talking about the clay bars from Built Hamber. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there was a video that came out that caused there were a lot of views, there were a lot of comments, created a lot of discussion about using a wax versus sealant versus coating.
Mm-hmm.
So do you speak to that video, kind of people's reactions to it, or what you thought about it?
Yeah, what I asked the guys to do, so this was in the middle of a snowstorm, the guys that were left, the advanced training, I wanted to see, I largely know what Dylan's take is on a lot of the stuff, and I've watched Dylan for years, and he and I think a lot alike, but we also differ on a lot, quite a few things. But I was kind of interested to see Jason Rose's reaction, and he couldn't care less about washing a car, or the protection part of it. He's very interested in the paint correction part, because that's what his passion is, and that's what he's training on. So he's built a life around where he's able to just focus on what his passion is, which is the paint correction aspect of things. And so what I asked them to talk about was, let's just have a discussion. So in the room we had 3 or 4 pros, medium to higher level pros. We had 3 or 4 guys, prosumer types, guys maybe a level or 2 below me on the obsession scale. A few guys on the same level as me on the obsession scale. We had Jared from Jack's Wax, who is a chemical producer and manufacturer. They're a blender. And we have Dylan and Jason and myself, and we just had a discussion about about what the state of what would you use for protection, when do you use it. Dylan's got it's pretty adamant about his his uses and how he does it, and his idea behind a coating is that you would use that on a beat up car, a car that you don't really care as much about, and you just resign yourself to the fact that coating isn't going to last as long. And then we had discussions about how a coating will take on the character of the the softness or hardness of the paint. And a coating, and my experience, like in my S2000, that paint was so soft we couldn't touch it, so the coating did add quite a bit of durability and hardness to it. But we weren't speaking in, at least that wasn't the intent, to speak in any kind of definitives. This is just a discussion that isn't had. It isn't had very often. And me in the beginning being adamantly against, look, I'm not coating my car because I want to re-wax it. I don't want to deal with water spots. I don't want to deal with having to remove it. Older coatings, needed to be sanded off. A lot of these punks that are 22 years old, so you don't have to sand off a coating. They haven't been around that long. They haven't seen some of the original, A-Quartz, the original, C-Quartz version 1.0 that, the only way that stuff was coming off was to frickin' belt sand it off the car. Or, maybe they've never seen it. Like Billy and I were talking about how he had a guy who put C-Quartz UK on the car and just globbed it on, used the whole bottle, but never leveled it. And they had to frickin' sand the whole car for days. So when we were talking about that, there's goofballs who take things out of context, or words that I say, they don't realize that they're too simple-minded to that they're taking these as definitives. There isn't a definitive in this game. That's why there's no handbook for how to detail. And so that video was a lot about what if, what, why, how, who, what do you think? Here's what I think. And just a roundtable discussion of this is what we think. What do you think about it? And so then, you see comments, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. I didn't realize there'd be that much pushback, because I watched the video back 3 times when I was editing it, and I didn't take any of it as definitive. It's just, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're saying. This is from people who have a lot of experience, and all different walks and all different levels. And say what you want about me. I've been all over this country learning about how stuff is structured and how it's made, and then a natural curiosity. I don't give a crap if I'm detailing for a living or not. I know what I'm talking about. and I don't have a lot of opinions on this. I have some experience with it. And I don't have to be a janitor to know how to clean a toilet. So don't give me that bull crap.
Want to get to a question here from Mike Bellows in the chat. What is your plan of attack for the water spots on the M3? I have to tackle some on my car soon.
Yeah, so I'm going to strip it, right? So get the wax and sealant off the car, and I'm going to clay it and get any contamination off of it, which really shouldn't be much. So I'll mechanical and chemically decontaminate it. And then I'm going to measure the depth, and then I got to get an IR lamp of some sort, and I'm going to attempt to recreate the situation that created the water spots. And we know that they were created outside here. The sun was so I put water on the car. The sun came out, slowly heated up the panel to some temperature, and then it basically the paint swelled and then grabbed the minerals. And so I'm going to attempt to recreate that temperature. Jason Rose told me that you'll know exactly. They'll just polish right off with like a simple compound and a single pass once you figure out what that condition is. And so just for the fun of it, I bought the Fluke thermometer, that infrared thermometer, and I'm gonna get a DeFelsco, paint depth gauge, see if I need to remove it. I'm gonna find out if I need to sand it, which I shouldn't, and we're gonna figure out how to do the process. But I think it's going to involve heating it either with a heat gun or an IR lamp. I think an IR lamp, you have more control of the heat and how quickly. And then we're going to try to polish it off. And then I'm going to pull it out in the sun, let it sit, and then pull it back in and pull it out in the sun and let it sit and see if the paint, this time I'm going to wait 3 or 4 days to see if they come back. And if they don't come back, then I'm going to coat it with G-Technic.
All right, before you can do any of that, you got to have some room in here
at
OGHQ. So do you want to speak to any of the plans kind of going forward as we keep getting more and more full?
Yeah, and I just rented a storage unit, which I'm kind of nervous about. I don't know. It's the stuff getting... I got to call the insurance company and maybe just get it insured. That'll take the nervousness away of somebody figuring out where that is. I'm not going to share that one. Figuring out where it is and which one it is, and where I have the $100,000 worth of stuff in there. So we're going to try to keep the cheap stuff over there as much as we can, so somebody doesn't back up a semi and take it all. Because the only thing I can do is put a padlock on the thing. Maybe I can talk him into letting me put a cable modem out there. There's power there, so put cable modem and then a camera. That's one option. Yeah.
I'm gonna steal a question here from Thomas in the chat. How would you go about polishing paint with rock chips?
You just mow right over it, and after you're done, then you choose how you're gonna fix it. Are you gonna touch up paint it, or are you gonna Dr. Color chip it? So what I do is just roll right over it, and hopefully it flattens it out a little bit, and then you'll do, so you do Dr. Color chip or the paint, the touch-up paint after you roll over it.
Danny had a question going back real quick to the water spots. Would you ever try wheel acid on the water spots?
Yeah, that didn't work. If that was that simple, then I would have been good to go.
Any plans to do any more pressure washer testing, whether it's Karcher Proline or the AR Blue Proline?
I want to get a hold of the Karcher AR Blue, the AR Blue Clean. There's really no reason to get all the AR Blues. There's only one that really works. It's the 630 TS or TS Hot, or 630 TS. So you might as well just get the one with the seals that allow you to go up to 180 degrees. Which, that's a big selling point for some people that, oh man, I could use hot if I needed to. Well, you can't get 180 degrees. The Krenzels are good to 145, so you're not getting 100. I mean, my water heater's maximum temperature is 140. Like, it doesn't get any hotter than that. And you could probably get like old school gas, heated ones that'll get to 180, but by the time it gets through all those pipes in your house, it isn't 180 degrees. It's like 120. So pretty much any pressure washer's fine with that. But yeah, and I don't know. I'm gonna grab one here and there and compile the list, and we are gonna get the list done and up on the site here shortly in the next month or so of all the tests.
Do you have any more feedback, or have you heard from folks about their Pressall sprayers, results using those, anything along those lines?
I think we're good other than the tips. The tips are failing. I haven't heard squat from Pressall, so it's a time and language barrier. I'm gonna order some more of the 750s because I screwed up and sold them all, and I don't have any. This is what I knew we would battle with. This is what everybody else doesn't understand of how this game works, of getting the companies to pay attention, to be obsessed about their own product. And it's good. It's great. It looks good. It looks the part. I'm gonna get a couple thousand tips so people can, we can at least, hopefully they're like 15 cents or 80 cents or something like that, so people can buy them to replace them. So don't throw your bottles away. I'm working on that. So I want to get replacement parts on this next shipment. But I've sent them a bunch of data and haven't heard squat. So we'll see. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Just know it's going to take forever.
Any updates on any use of your Meguiar's? I know you got a whole bunch of Meguiar's stuff in, and people were asking if you had tested or used any more of the stuff.
Yeah, D101 I'm in love with, which is all-purpose cleaner. Number 39 is the deep vinyl cleaner, which we use to remove any kind of polish on plastic. So I might accidentally swipe some of the plastic on Bryce's new Miata, and then we're gonna show people how to clean off the.
Actually, pretty little. Maybe only the cowl.
Yeah, we'll show people how to remove that. And I'm really digging Hyperwash right now.
That's what you use on the engine bay, right?
No. Hyperwash is a soap.
Mm. Hyperdressing, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's a D170 hyperdressing. Yeah, so the hyperdressing is definitely coming in the store. So yeah, like 2 or 3 products. And then 110, 210 we're going to use on Bryce's car to see how that does. And I'm going to add 101, 110, 210. So I'm going to increase the polish line. You still can get by. Just do Jescar and Sonax Perfect Finish. Stick with that as your basic, but I want to have an advanced polishing package as well, where you have these extra bottles on your shelf in case you need it. I'm a change up your product guy rather than a start adding water and doing crazy stuff. It's kind of hard to do that with our diminishing polishes anyway. They're not as manipulatable as like 110, 210 is much more manipulatable because it's non-diminishing.
So you've spoken a couple times about Bryce's car. Do you want to speak to that? Like what's coming up or what kind of?
Yeah, we're going to do a full correction protection series. I'm going to do CSL XO on it. And so the new car, new car decon, new car polishing, new car, protection. So we'll do the trim, we'll do the tires, the wheels, the whole deal. So one thing we're going to try to do that this weekend. So we're going to have a team. So this is the way that I envision. I'll do the hood on video, and then everybody else does everything else. I'll do the hood. I'll do one part of the trim. I'll do one of the wheels. This is going to be great.
And he's got I'm sorry, is it a Miata or is it not a Miata? I remember you.
It's MX-5. It's also a Miata.
MX-5. Okay.
Or a Roadster or Unos or whatever.
Gotcha. This got more names than these BMWs. Can you apply P&S Beadmaker on a car wrap?
Yep. No problem. Yeah, it'll work fine.
What do you think about a series of videos on the basic chemistry of detail products?
Yep. I love that. I got to go and find someone to do that with. I want to do more with Dave Phillips on that. And I want to share how stuff is made. Definitely. I'm going to go wherever I got to go. Somebody will show that.
All right. So speaking of traveling here, let's see. You were gone for on the road for a lot, and you're getting all tired and cranky about that. Let's see. So it looks like you don't have anything now until the mountain gathering.
Yep.
OG mountain gathering at the end of June. So
Yeah, and then July, the Seattle trip. And then car week in August. That's it.
yep, and then
I got to go to Tamco Lighting at some point to work on the lighting stuff, so I got to contact those guys. I'm supposed to go there this week, but I'm just not ready for that yet. I'm still not ready to jump in a car and drive 3 hours. Hopefully I will soon.
let's see. Oh, I want to go back to this question that Dave B asked earlier. When it comes to the membership program, 10% off free shipping. How does that work with regard to Canadian or overseas or other international orders?
10% off.
No free shipping.
Yeah. Sorry. Move to the U.S. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's no... Maybe we do 10% off and 10% off shipping. I don't know. I don't think we can algorithmically do that. Well, maybe you can. I think Shopify has. Yeah, I think you can provide a discount. I don't know if you can drill that down though to by country.
Well, I think in Shopify Plus, there's like a bunch of automation stuff behind Shopify Plus that you can do.
Yes,
Shopify
I don't
Plus
know.
is $2,000 a month minimum.
Yeah, suck it. I'm not doing that.
Any word on testing M39 and M40? M39 works great getting old polish off of polishers, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think that's a done deal. I'm going to get that in the store for sure. I don't think 40 is really necessary. That's just like a softer version of it.
Did you ever get a chance to look into Audio Frog? I don't know what that's referring to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Seems a little new wannabe to me. But yeah, I've been on their site a bunch. I don't know. That's a freaking stupid name to start with. I don't know the story behind it, but all I know is that in about a minute and a half, I was back on Focal's website. So I don't know what it is, but my spidey senses are tingling on that stuff.
Or Ian or something.
I don't know what it is, but somebody needs to frickin' tell them that's the stupidest name ever.
Let's see. We have a couple recommendations. I've seen this name twice now. Matt, look up Coke, K-O-C-H.
Coke Chemi, yeah.
Yeah, Chemi FSC. It's a detailing spray with a lime scale remover built in to remove water spots. So have you used that before? Or?
None of that crap. I'm telling you guys, none of that is going to work on this. It's got to be polished. I could dump freaking hydrochloric acid on there. It's not getting it off.
We could try that. Let's add that to the list.
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions I see in here for now. You should get in touch with Goon Squad. They really need your pressure washing solution. Maybe a collaboration would be good for you all.
Yeah. I should do some collaboration stuff. I was real hot and heavy on that. Now I'm kind of over it. Mainly because I'm probably over traveling. Yeah, I'm going to just make people come to me. Although, why would you come? The guy with 2.5 million subscribers is going to come hang out with a dude with 100,000. So whatever. I mean, hopefully there's some, I add some validity to whatever it is, they're talking about with their garage or whatever. But I'm so laser focused right now on garage design. It's just so much fun to me, and I do it by proxy through my own garage. And I think people are really going to enjoy the process of whatever HQ 3.0 looks like. I think people are going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy sharing it. Hopefully people watch it. But I'm excited about that, about the pursuit of the next structuring of a building and the next structuring of how I'm going to lay it out and what products I'm going to put in it and how I'm going to do that. I mean, I had so much fun building this place. And I'm having so much fun building out the solution. There was some comment on YouTube about something like, I don't care about all the money you're making in building this business, blah blah blah. You don't do anything for detailing. Well, detailing can suck it. I don't give a crap about detailing. I like the process of anything. And detailing is very, very process driven, is why I like detailing so much. So the business of washing cars, good trip out. And I know I have lots of you guys that follow that are doing that for a living, and more power to you. But I have not a iota of interest in that. The only interest I had in building it was so that I could test more stuff, or have somebody else test it for me and tell me what they came up with, or I could watch and observe. I learned so much more from observing than I do from doing. That's why, I love to go to trainings, and, my favorite thing to do is if I have my laptop in front of me and I can search whatever comes to my mind while somebody's teaching something up front. I know it's very rude to do that, at least Michelle tells me. So I try to let them know up front that I learn best through that kind of, this is how I've learned from the beginning. I'm watching something on TV while I'm chasing whatever curiosity I have online. And so the sharing of how I'm coming up with things, I think, is the best thing that I have to offer to the world. So when you and I are sitting there talking about building a accounts receivable process, I think it gives people who already have a great process confirmation that they're doing something great, or they're doing something better. It gives them an opportunity to maybe make a suggestion. It gives them an opportunity to tell us we're stupid or something like that, and make them feel better about themselves. It gives the opportunity for somebody else is in the same spot to think about it, see somebody else struggling with it. And it gives those who haven't gotten there an opportunity to see what it might be like. And then it gives those who are working, something they don't enjoy doing, the ability to see what it might be like if you did something that you did enjoy doing. And it doesn't have to be taking the flyer or this big risk of building your own business. That's not for everybody. That's for very few, and it's a lonely place to be. And so, but a lot of it can just be, I'm hoping just sharing the inspiration of me doing what it is that I love doing, and I'm gonna define that less and less what it is I love doing. Like, I don't call myself a detailer. I don't want to be a professional detailer. I want to be professional grade. I want to have the knowledge and understanding, but I don't want to wash cars for a living. I'm not freaking doing that. Why would I? It's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, let me quit selling millions of dollars of stuff and learning everything there is to learn about everything that I have an interest in, and start washing cars just so that, and make like 700% less money. Why would they? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And so instead, I'm going to keep chasing the dream and the passion and sharing it in a way that very few people are willing to share. Man, I wish that others would share so I could learn, share the process and of the whatever it is they're working on. And right now, obviously, a big thing of what I'm working on is this Obsessed Garage. And I understand how some people are going to look at that as, all you're doing is just sharing how much money you're making. And, well, maybe. That's not my intent. My intent is to let people in and let people participate. And my guess is that, the people that I want to respond, or the people that I want to watch, they don't respond. So.
All right, let me give you a couple of quick questions here. These will be nice and simple one-word answers. Are you going to SEMA this year?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I forgot about that. I should probably book that.
Does Sabre sell cabinets? Does Sabre Cabinets sell casters for their bases?
Not casters, but feet. But they suck.
And then Berkeley here. I'm building a garage. Are you going to offer finishing details other than lighting, e.g., wall finishes, flooring, HVAC guidance, floor drains, lifts, garage doors, etc.?
Yes.
So yeah, Berkeley, you can email him, Matt at Obsessed Garage. He likes doing that stuff. And then it looks like Kyle's mom is tuned in today. Matt, I just want to say Kyle does a great job at replying, and he's very professional. Great member of your team. So thanks to B-Town's Most Wanted there.
Yeah, no, Kyle is legit, man.
Oh, yeah, he does very well. He's awesome.
He is doing fantastically well. Yeah. Yeah, the whole everybody here. I mean, it's funny. There was another comment. So actually, maybe you could cue in on this. So there were several comments. I'm a little behind on comments on YouTube, but several that I noticed when I was just scrolling through the app. First of all, they always say that you're so OCD. That's freaking stupid. You're already stupid when you say that. You're so obsessive compulsive disorder. That doesn't even make any sense. So stop saying that. That's stupid. But they say, since you're so obsessed and you're so meticulous, I bet you nobody likes working with you, or I would never work for you, or I would never want to be a part of that. What do you have to say about that? I think people's perception of me is maybe a little bit different than reality.
Yeah, and we discussed this when Rick was on the podcast, because Rick has seen you. He hasn't seen you in the same frame that these people have seen you, or that I have seen you. He's seen you as you're his student, basically. Mm-hmm. And I see you first as a friend because we've known each other for so long, and then he's also now my boss. And so it kind of depends on what their perception is of you already, I guess. And so chances are, if you don't like working for people who kind of are trying to get the best out of you, they wouldn't like you. I remember when I changed schools, when I was a school teacher and went to a principal who I really enjoyed, but she ruffled some feathers because she expected stuff out of people. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to provide that, then you're not going to like that kind of principal or that kind of leader. If you just want to kind of skate by and hope things, go okay, then that's probably not the principal for you. So I enjoy working here. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here. There's a lot of other jobs out there, but
and that's what I would think too. I mean, you would, I'm not everybody's going to get along at all times. But I think people think that I'm nitpicking everything you do, and say no, that sucks, and no, it's got to be this way. I am not able to do this. This has gotten big enough that I'm not able to do that.
Right.
I'm physically not able to do it, and I'm not able to micromanage anything. And I'm not a micromanager. I'm not a perfectionist at all. I enjoy excellence. But I'm not a perfectionist. Thank God, because if I was, I'd be in a freaking loony bin. Now I do want great. And I've said this many times about all of you guys. I'm hoping that this place affords you the ability to be better than you could have otherwise been without it. That everybody here can be great and carve out a position. That doesn't mean we all get to do exactly what we want to do all day long. You don't get to do exactly what you want. But if this continues to grow and get bigger, I want to be the catalyst or the person that affords everybody here the ability to be the best that they could be. And sometimes that means I'm going to push a little bit. But it's never I don't micromanage anybody. And I think people have that misconception that I'm a perfectionist when I'm really not. I enjoy excellence and I enjoy things neat and tidy, and I think there's a misconception on what obsessive compulsive disorder is, and it has nothing to do with being organized. Sometimes the personality type, you can be organized, but the disorder for me is that I'm freaking sitting on a couch, bobbing and weaving, panicked about some irrational, ridiculous thing that I've created, this scenario I've created in my head. And part of that scenario is also what makes me sit there and chew on an interior package for weeks on end, and then. People that I think you're right though. Not everybody's going to work out here. It's not going to work. And the people that aren't going to work out here are ones that want to be just like me. So luckily, all you guys are very different than me. Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
It's true. Yeah, and it's gotten now to the point where it's too big for you to micromanage anyway, even if you wanted to. There's just so many moving parts and so much going on. And if you give me a task okay, let's get payroll set up, and then this came up actually a couple months ago, you didn't even realize when payday was or what was going on. You're just like, okay, things are working and I don't have to do it anymore. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and that I don't like the moniker, especially in a small company, that you call yourself CEO. Like, if you're a detailer and it's you, do not call yourself CEO. If you're I'm not a CEO. We have a $10 million business, and a CEO is a chief executive officer. You would have to have a CFO, you'd have to have a CTO, you'd have to have a COO, you'd have to have a board. So let's just say this: if you don't have a board, don't call yourself a freaking CEO. Call yourself the president or the founder or the owner. Drop the freaking CEO bullcrap. That's ridiculous. How do I get on these diatribes?
I don't know. I'll give you one last question here, then we'll let these people get back to their naps. How do you check the oil in the 1322 from Spencer?
You really don't. You'd have to take the darn. There's the little glass thing you can kind of see the oil, but you just have to change it.
And that's after 50 hours of use or so, right?
Yeah, 50, and then I would probably every 2 years change it after that. Unless you're just if you're washing 10 cars a day, then I would change it once every couple of months. But and you're probably going to change out the seals and stuff like that. That's a trip I'm going to have coming up. Is I'm going to go up to Dirt Killer, Krenzel, USA, and really dig into maintenance. Because I'm not an expert in maintenance on these yet. Because I didn't do anything. All I did was change the oil. I haven't done the seal kit or anything to any of mine. The things are just tanks. I've tried to kill my first 1122. It's still sitting out there. I could fire that thing up right now and work like a freaking $1 million. Yeah. Billy used his standing up for a year and a half. Didn't even lay it down. The thing probably didn't even hasn't gotten any oil at all. Now, granted, there's going to be a small percentage that blows up in 6 weeks, but that's because it's made by a human. Anyway, thanks for checking in on us, guys. If you're watching now or watching later, or listening on the podcast, thanks for checking in on us. And I really enjoyed doing this. We're just kind of give an update, talk through stuff, and answer questions, and have some form of interaction. I know it's a weird time of the day, so most people can't watch it live. But again, I'm not showing up here at 8 o'clock at night and paying these guys overtime to come do it. So we're going to do it at this time, this way, for the foreseeable future, and you can always watch it whenever, or listen to it whenever on the podcast. So anyway, thanks for being a part of this, and as always, stay tuned for more crazy. Or as Ryan says, stay tuned for crazy. I got more of it coming. Thanks for watching and listening. Catch you soon.